Hello and welcome to episode 83 of Missle Industries Ford Falcon 351 project. As you can see today, I've got my XCGS Falcon shirt on, and I'm going to address thermal fan switching issues. I'm going to use a temperature sensing laser thermometer on my motor to see how hot the motor is actually getting and at what temperatures I can turn my thermal fans on to have the biggest gap possible between the first fan turning on and the second fan turning on without my motor cooking itself. And the middle of winter seems like the best time to do that, so I'll set it all up and then take the car for a bit of a drive, check the temperatures, modify the settings, and just see if the car stalls or not. So here we have yet another Davies Craig mechanical fan controller made in Australia, and the cheapest laser thermometer I could find. So that should be all I need. What I need to do next is put this other fan controller into my existing circuit down here and make these two fans separate so I can have them turning on consecutively rather than concurrently. And there we have it. Two temperature knobs to adjust rather than one. So that will keep the fans coming on at different times. And it was a simple process. Thermal controller going to two relays. I've just got the feed for the thermal controller splitting between the two controllers, and then each controller manages a separate relay. So I'll be able to set the temperatures for these independently of each other and get these thermal fans to turn on separately. And now it's time to start the car up and test out my new toy as the car warms up. Alright, I've set this thermal fan here to come on around 85 and this thermal fan here to come on a bit later. I'm going to have to take the car for a drive and figure out what exactly is what and how they both cooperate. But hopefully this way I can have it all staggered, and all that's left to do now is take the car for a test drive and see how it goes. Check the temperature. Alright, it's getting up to 100. Should have both fans on any minute now. One fan on. Fans on. Let's go. The car's back in the garage and it's currently, the engine block's registering about 86 degrees. Inlet manifold pretty warm. How much is the float bowl? 58 degrees. So I'm home now from my local suburb drive and the car behaved impeccably till I got back home under the house and then it stalled. So I'm running the idle at around 1000 RPM in neutral, and while I was out and about that seemed to work perfectly fine, but once I got home it started to play up. I'm starting to wonder whether I'm getting some kind of vapor lock or something minor, because it doesn't really affect the car until it's properly hot. The last 5 minutes of that drive the car pretty much sat on 100 because I've got the thermal fans set to come on pretty late, so they're not really kicking in until the sensors are over 95. The engine itself's hovering around 87 to 89 degrees, which is probably alright. So probably just going to do more test driving, to be honest. Let's whip out a spark plug and see what we can see after all the stop-start. Looks like much for muchness, really. Starting to wonder if that's too lean.